What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. This is your review of Star Season 3, Episode 3. So look, we start the episode off with Carlotta being interviewed, and she's, to me, she's coming off a little arrogant, y'all. Not in the interview, but in the conversation that takes place after the interview. The interview, she's cool. You know, she's talking about a new deal that she's brokered, where the artist is almost, it reminds me almost of what was going on in Empire when Lucius had the club and the Empire artists would come and perform at the club and, you know, be streaming and all that good stuff. And that's kind of the deal that Carlotta made with this new club that's going to be opening up called Karma, where artists from Uptown, they calling it something different now, where they're going to be performing, and their music will be streamed and everything else, but it's like an exclusive thing where the artists from the label will go and perform their new hits there, this, that, and the other. And it's like a very lucrative deal. And she's, you know, talking about how, you know, she was able to get the deal, and, excuse me, and the person interviewing her was really impressed by that, you know. So, after it was over, you know, her and old boy, the head of the label, you know, they knocking heads. And that's what he keeps saying, you know. He's like, look, you know, this interview was supposed to be about what they call it's not global media. I keep wanting to say global media, but it's supposed to be about us, not about, you know, you. And she was like, oh, so you still mad because I released that song without your permission? I don't think he mad about that. I think he saying exactly what he mean, and what he's saying is, this interview ain't supposed to be about you. It's supposed to be about the business, and you making it about you. But they do a little back and forth. And she was like, you just mad because I made this deal? And he was like, yeah. And you better make sure that it goes off without a hitch. If not, that's going to be your ass. Like, you want all the glory. If it don't work out, you're going to get all the pain, you know. Then we see Noah and his dad. You know, they have this tumultuous situation. Dad showed up at his doorstep last week. Dad sitting there cooking up some bacon. Noah was like, I know you are not cooking this swine up in my house in my Gucci slippers. But they get to talking or whatever. And of course, they clash. His father's trying to tell him about his new contract, saying, look, you know, all that glitters ain't gold. They offering you a whole lot of stuff in this new contract, but it's movie deals, it's this, it's that. It's going to take you away from your music, and you don't have any kind of creative control. What's going on? He was like, you know, you haven't signed the deal yet, so maybe you feel like it ain't what you want it to be, you know, as well. And so he was like, Noah came at him talking about what the fuck do you know? You sleeping on my couch. He was like, yeah, but I'm also the same one that saved your ass from jumping off of a roof, so it is what it is. He was like, well, what's your gay ass know about it anyway? His father said, this gay ass would still break your ass down like a fraction. I said, I know that's right. I like that one. I'm going to have to add that one to my list. Break your ass down like a fraction. So we see that and that's gonna, you know, that's gonna be something that happens this episode. We're gonna see their relationship go through some stuff this episode. Then we see the girls. Baby daddy, Star baby daddy is trying to be. He knows Star well enough to know that he can't just be like, I want to be with you, Star. I love you, da 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 da. So he's coming at it from, look, I'm just trying to be here to support. I want to be an active father. And so he's there. And of course, Star's being Star. You know, she was like, anybody ever tell you that you were ugly? I mean, no, for real, you really funny looking. Now, see, what I would have thrown back at her is, well, that's what your baby gonna look like. Your baby gonna be funny looking. But, you know, he took it in stride, you know. I think he knows how Star is, and she can't let people in very easily, and she just can't accept stuff. So, while this is going on, we see that they want to see Simone up in the office. Now, remember Simone last week? She went out for the role in the movie. She gets up to the office and she sees old boy, the head of the big company. He going at it with the reporter. Oh, rewind a little bit. Come to find out, old boy knows the reporter, and he was like, "Look, you know, me and you go way back. You gonna make this article about Carlotta, or you gonna make it about me?" And she was like, "Carlotta is hot right now. Like, give me something that's gonna make me take her off the front line, cause she hot." And He was like, well, and he starts bringing up when they were back in undergrad down in Duke and how you ain't think I was shit. You and your friends thought I was some old poor Cuban fresh off the boat, but you see that I'm not now, and I'm a force to be reckoned with, and you need to recognize. And he was like, so, how about for old time's sake, let's get this in. And she was like, well, no, he was like, go ahead and put me, make this article about me. And she was like, well, what's in it for me? So next thing you know, they get into it they getting at it on the couch. That's when Simone walks in. So Simone walks in and she sees them going at it. Now Simone don't know they got an open marriage. Although Simone, you did think you had slept with his wife last week, so I don't feel like you should have felt no kind of way, cause she was like, if you was halfway conscious, y'all would have got it in last week. So what you tripping about? But anyway, Simone act like she in her feelings and she runs off. Well, of course she runs into the wife. And the wife lets her know, look, you got the deal, You're gonna be in the movie. She was like, he ain't tell you? And she was like, well, nah, he was kind of busy, But she let that go, whatever. Well, she didn't let it go, but you know what I'm saying. They moved on, whatever. So let's get to the club. We see Carlotta, we see Noah at the club. This is the Club Karma, where the artists are going to be performing and everything like that. And Noah was like, oh yeah, I've been here before. And Carlotta was like, when you been here before? And he was like, oh. And here come Cassie. Cassie said, oh, he was here visiting me. Honey, Club Karma is Cassie's club. And we saw a scene with Cassie and the white boy, my boy Chad Michael Murray, from One Tree Hill fame, and he's been in a lot of stuff, but One Tree Hill was, I think, what broke him out. But I've always loved him since One Tree Hill, and they got something going on, and he has bankrolled her. He financed the whole club, get her the club, get her to start this record business, this streaming business that she set up and everything. He's her bankroll, and so Carlotta was like, basically Carlotta said that she was like, where you get money like this to, like how you get put on like this? And of course they go at it, they do their little snarky back and forth shit, and she lets Carlotta know that she's coming for Noah, that she offered Noah a deal and she got more to offer him and better residuals and better this and better that, and he gonna come on over to her side. And of course Noah tells her, he was like, nah, I'm riding with Carlotta. Like, Carlotta's been there for me. That's who I'm with. So cool. He got that. No problem. So that takes a little bit of weight off of Carlotta, even though she ain't really crazy about, she didn't sign this deal because of course it was a front company. She didn't know she was dealing with Cassie. She obviously thought she was dealing with somebody totally different, but she in the contract now. There's really nothing she can do about it. So while all this is going on, Alex done invited the sister of the girl that died on the plane sitting next to her. She invited her to come down to Atlanta. I'm sure it's to, she's guilty and she doesn't know how to process the guilt. So she done reached out to the sister. She done invited her to come down to Atlanta. Of course, she whining and dining her. Got her, picked her up in the G-Wagon and told her that she would help her with her career, that, and all this other stuff. And Alex opens up to the girl. Alex tells the girl what happened on the plane. She said, your sister was still alive, but they saved me first. And when they went back to go get your sister was dead. I mean, she said it a lot nicer, but this is basically what she said. And of course, the sister responded the way you would expect her to respond. She was like, so is that why you brought me down here? Like, you trying to make yourself feel good? Like, you trying to sway your guilt a little bit? She was like, she didn't say fuck you, but that's basically what she did. She rolled out, right? So, of course, Alex is sitting there like, damn, Alex, I think your intention was good, but I don't know what made you think that little girl was going to receive that information any differently. Like, what made you think she thought that was a good idea? So, I'm sorry, y'all. So, now we cut to Grandma and Alex's boyfriend. Grandma's still dealing with the aftermath of the rape. And she talks to her grandson a little bit. And she lets the grandson know that one of the things that she remembers the most about her attacker is that he had a brand on his arm, right? And she doesn't really remember a whole lot, but she remembers that he had a brand on his arm. Okay? That's important. We're going to get back to that. That's the only reason why I mentioned that little scene. So Queen Latifah knows who the fuck is bankrolling Cassie, because of course this is somebody from Cassie's past, somebody that they all used to work for back in the day. It's the person they used to run drugs together with, and so she goes to confront him, and she tells him, "Look, you need to pull the bank. You need to pull the plug on Cassie. Like, if you don't back up and get yourself up out of this, I'm gonna go to the police with what I know." And he was like, "No, you're not. Because number one, you're not no snitch. And number two, your ass was in there with me." So then, and I want to say he said something about you're not a shooter or something like that. And Queen Latifah was like, "You know what, you're right, but I'll find other ways to deal with it." And she pulls out this big ass knife. But he ain't tripping. Like, he's not afraid of her. That don't spook him. None of that, right? So one of the biggest problems that Noah is dealing with this whole contract piece is he wants creative control. Now, I jumped the gun a little bit. Noah really did kind of go back and forth before he agreed to sign with Queen Latifah. They did go back and forth a little bit. But eventually they offered him a car and all this other stuff went down. But he eventually did decide he was going to re-sign with Queen Latifah. He was like, you've been there with me from the beginning. So they having the party for oh yeah, little squirrely Andy ass. He back. Y'all know Cassie know he back. Queen Latifah gave him some money, told him to get the hell out of town. He said, "Look, I'm sorry, but it's just not safe for you right now. You just gotta go. You gotta get the hell out. You gotta go. Cassie will kill you when she finds you." And we keep seeing her talking to Hayel. She talked to Hayel about Cassie's benefactor because, of course, Hayel knew who he was too because they all used to run together back in the day. He talked to Cassie about the whole situation with Andy, and we see her the whole episode. She's talking to Hayel. He's her rock, whatever. So we having a party for baby girl. I mean for the baby, for Cotton's son. We having a party. It's his birthday, and Cassie shows up with a gift and everything. Her and Queen Latifah get into it, and basically Queen Latifah tells her, "Look, you ain't shit. You ain't never gonna be shit. You just a chicken head from the hood, and you gonna always be a chicken head from the hood, right?" And of course Cassie, it's like, I'm gonna, you. They go back and forth, but everything that Queen Latifah says to Cassie, she is internalizing it. And that's part of the reason why she's going so hard. One, to be legit, to go straight, and to be successful. And two, to stick it in Carlotta's face, because everything she says to her is just hitting her. Like, it is just, like, you can tell at the end of the day, she really just wants her sister's love and acceptance and forgiveness. She did not mean to kill Hayel, but that gangster shit, that's what happens. Bullets don't have no name on them. You know what I'm saying? And that's the shit that happens when you out here just riding and rolling like that. So, old girl, the sister, she done called Alex back, and Alex was like, I'm glad you reached out to me. I knew then something wasn't right. I said, don't nobody do no 360 that quick. You was mad, now all of a sudden you cool again. Nope. But she comes back and she's like, I thought about it, and, it wasn't your fault, and, da 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 da. And in the meantime, that's when Alex hears that the girl can sing. Her music's playing in the background, right? Conveniently, the music's playing in the background. And Alex is like, well, I can help you. I can help you with your career, and she's like, well, you don't have to do it because you feel guilty. No, it's not because of that. It's not because of that. I really want to help. I knew something wasn't right with this little chick. So, we're going to get back to her little last. So, we see Noah and his dad have a moment. At least it started out as a moment. First, they were bonding over the music, and they were reminiscing and they were thinking back and everything. And he was like, I was there in New Orleans. I saw you perform Dance with My Father, and they had a little moment, And then the dad asked him for some money. So of course Noah was like, "Oh, is that what this was all about? You was just softening me up to ask me for some money." He was like, "What you need? What you need?" He starts throwing money at him. To me, that's probably one of the most disrespectful things you can do to somebody is throw money at them like that. That's so fucking disrespectful to me. Like, ooh, spitting. That's gotta be second to spitting. You throw money at me like that. And so, of course, the father responded. I mean, of course, the father felt that way about it. Excuse me. Cassie is in her feelings. She's at the club. She in her feelings. She is really feeling some kind of way about the whole thing of what Carlotta said to her about her being a hood rat. And she gonna always be a hood rat and all that bullshit. And then they have this moment where Brandy singing, Queen Latifah singing back. I'm not gonna lie, I fast forwarded through it. I didn't listen to the words. So I'm pretty sure though it was that I love you, but I don't know. But I didn't listen to it. I listened to like Brandy's part in the beginning, and then I was like, So I don't know really what they said, but I can get the gist of it. That it was basically that sister thing. I can get the gist of it. So Star has got it in her head that they need to find Brody, right? That it's time for them to find Brody. That even though he wasn't the best father in the world, it's time for them to bring this family back together with the baby coming and stuff. So she starts looking for Brody. Then the police call Star, and now they get ready to perform, right? They're at the club. It's their opening night at the club. Noah's going to perform first, then take three girls, and I don't know what the fuck. They going to perform next. And so they in the dressing room now. The three of them in the dressing room plus old girl, right? The sister, right? She in there with them, soaking it all up and stuff. And she get a phone call from the police, and the police is like, you need to come down here, basically letting them know they found Brody's body. So they run out on the performance, right? And of course, Alex is standing there like, what the fuck? Now I'm gonna tell you what I thought was gonna happen. I thought Alex was going to take that girl up on stage and they was going to perform and do some sort of duet. That's what I thought was going to happen, but that ain't what went down. We'll talk about it. But I really thought in that moment, I said, Alex is going to take that girl up on stage and, give her a platform or whatever. So we see Noah and his dad. And his dad basically comes to him and he's letting him know, look, he said, because Noah threw it at him about how his father left him, walked out on him and his mom, never looked back, that kind of thing. And basically his father was like, look, I was screwed up. I was young and I was trying to figure out who I was. And once I figured out who I was, I did not know how to deal with that and be a father. Like, I was fucked up. And he wasn't, excuse me, he wasn't making any excuses, I don't feel. I feel like he was really truly explaining. He was like, here I was, a man who was acknowledging the fact that he was gay and stepping into my gayness and living my truth. Sorry, y'all, but I still had a wife and a son that I had to figure out where I fit in their life or where they fit in my life. And I didn't handle it in the best way. Oh, sorry, I got this tickle in my throat. He said I didn't handle it in the best way, but that's what happened. It was never about you. It was never because I didn't love you. It was never because I didn't want to be with you. It was because I didn't know how to process everything that I was going through. I am so sorry, y'all. So then he said, you want to know why I was living in my car? He said I was living in my car because basically he had a partner. The partner died. He said, and I had no rights to anything a part of our lifestyle. And all I basically was left with was my car and what I could put in it. And when people talk about gay marriage being legal and they have that, people get on their soapbox about gay marriage, I always go back to this. Take the love out of it. I mean, again, but there's a lot of instability in same-sex relationships before gay marriage was made legal. There were a lot of parameters where they couldn't do a lot of things for their partners when they got sick, when it came down to owning property and owning businesses and owning, and so when somebody died, a lot of times, depending on the family and how the family chose to accept or deal with that, you saw a lot of people end up on the short end of the stick because the family said, oh, well, your name ain't on this house. Well, we know y'all were together. We know y'all been living here together for 10 years, but oh, well, this not your house. You got to get out. And it sounds like that's what happened with Noah's dad, that he wasn't some deadbeat just riding around in his car, that when his partner passed away, he lost everything. And so they had a moment. I mean, they both crying and they hugging and everything. And so when Noah goes out there to perform, he ends up performing Papa Was a Rolling Stone. But that ended up, we saw earlier in the episode, that was one of their songs. When he was younger, that was one of their songs that, they had bonded over and everything. Y'all, it is thunderstorming and I just heard like a crackle and I was like, what the hell? So that was good to see them kind of come to and have a moment or whatever. We see Star, of course, while he's performing, they're showing Star claiming her father's body and getting his belongings and all that good stuff. And she's thinking back on the last conversation she had with him, and they told him he was electrocuted and everything. And y'all know Star. Star ain't no idiot. Star know that there's more to that fucking story. So they go back to the club, and they just happen to make it just in time to perform. And Simone is like, Star, you don't have to go out there. Like, if you're not feeling it, you don't have to go. And Star's like, the show must go on. I'm good. And of course, she goes out there, and she fucking freezes, and she can't perform. And old boy is there, her baby daddy, and she walks off the stage and walks up to him and says, get me out of here. And he whisks her away. And of course, everybody's standing there like, what the fuck is going on? But Simone, she lets Alex know what's up. But everybody else is just kind of thinking, and to me, they took it real in stride for her to just walk off stage and then there'll be no second performance. Like, it just seemed like nobody was really that upset by it. Like, I was like, what the hell? So we're all at the club. So a couple of things happened at the club. It's the last little bit. Simone tells old girl that she saw her husband on the couch with the reporter. Now, mind you, Simone don't know they got an open marriage. So she walks off. She was like, you've been good to me, and I just need to let you know that, this is what I saw. I don't feel like that was Simone's place to get involved in that, but she did. It is what it is. But of course, old wifey wasn't really tripping. What wifey was tripping over was, why are you still trying to get their acceptance? Why are you still trying to be down with them? Fuck them. And he was like, no, they just need to understand. So she knows the whole background, and she knows the whole story with these people. Then we see Alex with the sister and her boyfriend. He comes to the club to support them or whatever. And I feel like she was a little too friendly with old boy. He walked up and, Alex introduced him. And she's all giving him this big ass hug like she know him. And then rubbing on his face and his lip. I said, oh, Alex, you better check that shit. And then she gives Alex a picture frame of her sister. And it's one of them little real pretty bedazzled frames. And it's of her sister and everything. So, song come on, they get to dancing and stuff. And, oh boy, he looks out into the club and sees a dude with a brand. So he's like, hold up. There goes somebody with a brand. Is that the one that fucked my grandmother up? He ends up running out to the onto the dance floor, and of course he loses him in the crowd or whatever. Noah goes up to Queen Latifah, up to Carlotta, and lets her know, I changed my mind. I'm not signing with you. I'm signing with Karma Records. So, of course, Brandy in the background like, yeah, bitch, he came to me. I got him. Carlotta is like, damn it. First, my Take 6 girls, Take 3, whatever their name is, they ain't performed. Now, I already got duped into this business deal at the club. Now, old boy done left me, she done came in and snagged him from me. Honey, she rolls up to Cassie. They get to arguing, and she knocked the shit out of Cassie. Cassie hits her back, knocks her wig off, and they are tussling like only sisters can tussle. You hear me? Security breaks it up and everything. And of course, the whole time this is going on, the reporter is still there. The reporter got her phone out. She videotaping the whole damn fight. So, of course, that's not going to look good. That's not going to be a good look come tomorrow morning. After Carlotta had done this wonderful interview and everything. So that's how that night ended. Last thing, two more things happen. We see Brandy celebrating that night with her boyfriend. Chad shows up. They celebrating. And some thugs done rolled up in there with, guess who they done found? They done found Andy. But what makes it even bigger is the dude with the brand is the dude that raped Grandma. And he is the one that found Andy. So you see, it's all connected. It's all connected. Cotton goes to Carlotta to find out, Mama, what's going on with you? What you doing fighting in the club? What's up with that? And she's like, tell me what's going on. Please tell me what's going on. Please tell me what's going on. And Carlotta almost tells her. Carlotta almost tells her about Cassie. Because Cotton is like, this thing between you and Aunt Cassie is deep. Like, it's deeper than what y'all are letting me know. So what's really good? She almost tells her, but she doesn't. She does not, she doesn't tell her at the last minute. She comes up off of it. Then we see that Miss Bruce knows Noah's daddy. They know each other from back in the day. We're going to see what that ends up being. They end up having a drink together. We're going to see where that goes. And last but not least, at least I think it's last but not least. We go back to the house. Come to find out, that little picture frame that old girl done gave Alex, it's a camera. Or something. It's either it's a record. It's something. It's either a recorder or a camera. But we saw a little red light beeping behind it, so it's something. She done planted something. Now I don't know what she's trying to get on Alex, but she's trying to get something on her. So we're gonna see how that plays out. And that's pretty much what happened. We see Star with her baby daddy, and he's trying to, he's telling her, look, you ain't got to be strong all the time. Like, I'm here for you, and you can lean into me. I know that, that you're going through something, and this is hard, but I got you. So that's what we got, y'all. It was kind of all over the place, but I'm starting to see how they bringing some of these storylines around. We're going to see where this goes. Y'all let me know what y'all think in them comments. Peace.